In this section, I will briefly discuss finances. And once again, we'll go through budgeting and finances in the logistics in-country sections specific for Eswatini and Bolivia in more depth further on in the course. But during this pre-travel section, we need to discuss how to get started with finances. So living expenses can vary greatly depending on the country, bridge location, availability of accommodations, and the length of your stay. As a starting point, chapters may use an approximation of $1,000 to $1,500 per student to cover food, lodging, and transportation for a 6-week stay. Typically, lodging is covered by the community on site, but it is common to need a few days in a hostel or hotel before and after the project. As the team investigates living, eating, and in-country transportation options in more detail as you go through the rest of the course, you should update a budget to reflect project-specific costs. Some key questions to consider are, will we be camping on site? If no, is there a community center or school where we can stay? This will significantly affect what you bring. Do we need to stay in a hotel when we arrive or depart from the airport? What is the timing of your flights? Will trips to town require us to stay overnight? How much will it cost to pay cooks? And what raw ingredients are we responsible for purchasing? Does the municipality have a truck or van that will provide us transport? Will it be possible to hire someone from a nearby community who has a truck to provide transport? Managing expenses throughout the year is more explicitly mentioned in the fundraising course, so that would be your expenses throughout the year. However, a sample budget specific to travel team expenses has been provided, and I'll link that below. It's important to have an ongoing record of everything that happens in country, especially during the critical path construction where stress is high and last-minute purchases can be made. So just to summarize, we have our fundraising course and our budget for the year. Now we have our pre-travel fundraising and budgeting and things to think about on the pre-travel. And then we have our in-country logistics sections that are coming up that will discuss more in depth some of the cost that you will find. And you can go back and you can update your budget that you're creating now as the pre-travel at the pre-travel portion of the trip based on what your expected in-country expenses will be. And all of these questions should be discussed and can be answered during the bi-weekly field staff calls. It's good to ask these questions during these calls where all other teams are available as well, so that if you didn't think of anything and maybe another team's question will help you think of something you hadn't thought of previously, and you'll be able to ask in that moment.